everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be breaking down for you one of the high impact teaching strategies which is called collaborative learning. So let's get to it. Let's learn, share and teach. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mr. K. If this is the first time you're here, I'm a primary school, elementary school teacher and a very proud parent. Now, I've geared my channel towards helping students, parents and teachers to improve their learning, sharing and teaching to get the best outcomes for the students. Now, if you think this is something you would be interested in, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button down below. That would be greatly appreciated. Now, John Hattie said that just about anything teachers do benefits their students. He said he's even gone as far to say that as teachers, all we need is a student with a heartbeat to give the child some benefit. So considering that, what we should be looking into as teachers is what benefits the students the most. So today we're going to be looking at a high impact teaching strategy called collaborative learning. Let's get things underway. So what is collaborative learning? Well, collaborative learning is an educational approach that enhances the learning of students through group work. Now, it normally involves groups of 2 students or more, of course, and it's a situation where together they solve problems, complete tasks, or learn new concepts. Now, when it comes to educational theory, this high impact teaching strategy is really built on the lines of the constructivist's view that knowledge is basically constructed, it's discovered, and then transformed. The learner does the learning. The learning is not done to the learner, okay? Now, when it comes to the terms collaborative learning and cooperative learning, is there a difference between them? Well, generally speaking, they are used interchangeably. But if you did want to differentiate between these terms, you could look at collaborative learning and define it as, being a little bit more self-directed, more student-centered, and the teacher is basically a facilitator. The work that is normally done in collaborative groups is normally more complex and open-ended, and collaborative learning is basically a philosophy on how the students interact between each other in these groups. Now, cooperative learning you could define as this. It's more teacher-centered. The teacher has more involvement in each group to oversee what they're doing. Also, the roles are more clearly defined for each student in the group, and it's structured to facilitate an end goal. Okay, excellent. Now, why? Why collaborative learning? Well, collaborative learning through evidence and studies has been shown to be a high impact teaching strategy. John Hattie, through his famous meta-analysis, has gone out and gathered up many different studies on the elements that have an effect on student learning. And he's actually quantified the effect that those elements have on the students' learning. He's done this through creating or using a measurement called effect size. Now, explaining this basically, any element that has an effect size of greater than 0.4 results in a situation where if you use that element or that strategy over a year repetitively with a child, then that student would basically benefit greater than a year's worth of learning. Wow. So, and also, as you can see above me, all the elements that are rolled up into collaborative learning have greater than a 0.4 effect size, which means that they benefit the child greater than a year's worth of learning. Okay, excellent. Also, the other reasons that we are looking at, or the other benefits that are attributed to collaborative learning, increased skills. They increase the child's or the student's skills and knowledge. They develop self-management and leadership skills. They also help to improve, it also helps to improve relationships across the classroom. It also helps to improve acquisition and retention of information. also improves class engagement. Wow, what doesn't it do? It also helps to turn learning into a truly active process, and obviously through a more active process, it's easier for the students to remember the content that they have to. Also promotes learning from different viewpoints, teaches how to think critically and quickly, promotes listening to criticism and advice. Wow, and that's an ever more important attribute or skill to have. Also develops public speaking and active listening skills, and also improves cooperation. Now, how? Well, I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks on how to set up collaborative learning groups. From my experience, I've actually found that teams of 4 work really well. Okay, they interact quite easily with each other because the group is not too big and it's not too small, so that the ideas are limited. Also, another tip: set up teams with various abilities. So have, maybe one student that's really good in the area that they're going to be working on, and students that are so-so in that area, and then a student that's, maybe not so good in that area. So mix it up with various abilities. Then also give the team a shared learning goal. I think this is particularly powerful. If they have a shared learning goal, you'll normally see the logic kick in between the students, that they realize that if they help their fellow students learn in the group, then it benefits them. Okay, so you can do this many different ways. One way would be a point system. Now that point system brings me to my next point here, and that is make it a shared outcome based on improvement. Okay, the great thing about the shared income based on improvement is that it creates that culture that, it's not about comparing yourself necessarily with other people. It's more about comparing yourself to yourself a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Okay, also that improvement factor really gets the child to focus in on their own work. So yeah, that's important, I believe. Beyond that, another tip or trick is to have an element of competition between other teams. Now, that sort of like reinforces that collaboration within the team. So that's very powerful as well. Beyond that, reward behaviors such as peer tutoring. So if you see a student helping another student or teaching another student, wow, jump on that and make a bit of a big deal of it, and reward that in some way. Beyond that, another tip or a trick is to use jigsaw groups. Now, jigsaw groups are really cool. I love it how you would grab a student from each group and then assign them to researching something. Like, say example, if it was writing, you could grab a student from each of those collaborative groups, put them into a new group called a jigsaw group. They would say research how to write sentences, and then they'd make a poster, present it back to the class. In the process, they're becoming subject matter experts, and then put them back into their groups, and there you go. You've got 5 subject matter experts, 1 in each team or collaborative team, helping their fellow students. So very powerful. Beyond that, provide feedback, of course. I think this doesn't have to be said in a way, because as teachers we should all be providing feedback to let students know where they are, where they have to go, and what they can do to get to the next level. Cool. So there we have it, a summary. We're going to get into it, and we've finally got there. Collaborative learning is an educational approach using groups to enhance the students' learning through group work. Also, remember that collaborative and cooperative learning are terms that are often used interchangeably. Also, data shows it to be a very effective and high impact teaching strategy. So, like I said earlier on, the question isn't is what I'm doing working? The question really is what I'm doing having the most impact that I can possibly have? Okay, so we should all be looking for high impact teaching strategies out there. Beyond that, it improves engagement, social skills, so it's got all those benefits. And we also talked about how, the data has shown that, if it's greater than a 0.4 effect size, it means that it's going to have, if you put a year's worth of learning or repetitively use that strategy with the student, then the student will benefit normally greater than a year's worth of learning. Beyond that, and the last point, if it'll come up, yeah, excellent. Remember the tips that I gave you, on group size, shared outcome, basing it on improvement, using jigsaw groups. Okay, so excellent. Listen, thanks for tuning into my channel today. And please remember to subscribe down below. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye guys, bye. Thanks for watching one of my videos. If you've enjoyed the content or you just want to show your support, please just click the subscribe button down below. You hitting the subscribe button lets me know that you'd like to see more content from me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Subscribe.